Let's get back to Zoroastrianism, the religion of the good life. Chapter 10, the problem of good and evil. Like it has to be a problem, right? The most bewildering problem of life is that of existence of evil. There is a bright as well as a dark side to creation. Man, too, has his noble as well as his ignoble side, an inescapable dualism beset nature. All is not right with the universe, nor is it all wrong. With much that is good in it, there is also a good deal of evil, which cannot be ignored, or sophistically explained away as Maya, or illusion, nor can it be tolerated in the spirit of a fatalist as an inscrutable degree of providence. Now, I do not believe that there is evil creation. I believe that creation can choose evil. There's a difference. Evil is positive. Well, there's positive and negative evils and ignorances, aren't there? Zarathustra postulates the independent existence of evil. It is just evil, nothing more nor less. It is not good, sullied, or corrupted, nor is it good in the process of formation or fructification, yeah. Much less it is the mere negation of good. It is a distinct principle, and the active enemy of good. Both these principles of good and evil are incessantly at work in man as well as in creation, and the story of their conflict is the story of the world. In this great conflict, man is co-worker and fellow combatant on the side of Spenta Menu as the beneficent spirit. The prophet of Iran induces in his followers a militant instinct, a fervent longing to combat the evil spirit. Life thus becomes an interminable crusade against the forces of evil and perfection. Jihad's a much better word for crusade because it just means struggle. Crusade kind of, implies some stuff. Not only man, but entire creation has to rise from the abyss of imperfection to the summit of perfection. During this process, social wrongs have to be adjusted. Social justice has to be rendered. Society as a whole seems to be regenerated. The world has to be redeemed. Which is not what people mean by the sarcastic term social justice warrior. You're actually doing something for social justice. You're not just protesting perceived differences which may not exist, and often don't exist. Not that those people are all wrong. I wouldn't claim that at all either. The two primeval principles. Having arrived at the basic idea of the unity of God, Zarathustra found himself confronted by the problems of the eternal conflict going on in the world between good and evil. Since the dawn of creation, how could the imperfections found in the world, the various kinds of evil, injustice, and exploitation, wickedness, and baseness, be compatible with the holiness, beneficence, and justice of Ahura Mazda? God-given life, surrounded on all sides by evil and steeped in sorrow and suffering, is, indeed, an anomaly. The sage of Iran furnished a solution in this mystery by positing two primal powers at war with each other. One of these principles is called Spenta Menu, the beneficent spirit, the other Engra Menu, the evil spirit. There is nothing in the Gathas to show that both the spirits emanated from or were the creation of Ahura Mazda. Well, nothing that would show that Ahura Mazda is listed as the creator of all, But he's not listed as the creator of evil, because again, evil is an opportunity that was taken instead of good, which is also an opportunity. But there's good that's completely free of choice, so that's where that stands apart. But certainly the Zervan Misk of Ahura Mazda and of Oromaz and Ahriman being from Zervan, and that's from another source that possibly originated even before that. But although some authors draw such inference, the position may be stated as put by Professor Jackson. The two spirits do not exist independently, but each in relation to the other. They meet in the higher unity of Ahura Mazda. They existed before the beginning of the world, but their opposition only finds expression in the world that we see. The beneficent spirit is not entirely free to do as he pleases, even ever since he came into being, and has been encountering opposition from the evil spirit. Well, can't God's will be done on every occasion, as Yatahuverio implies? But yeah, my stomach's saying to eat. But certainly in the lower worlds, we have these ideas of dualism that go too far. But a true God, would you be able to escape from the presence of a true God? These twin spirits form indeed the very antithesis of each other in every respect. How radically they differed from and opposed each other is declared in the Gathas in the following emphatic terms. Now shall I speak of the spirits twain at the first beginning of life, of whom the holier thus address the evil one. Never shall our minds harmonize, nor our doctrines, neither our aspirations, nor yet our beliefs, neither our words, nor yet our deeds, neither our hearts, nor yet our souls. Thus, for the first time in the history of religion, we see the philosophic doctrine of eternal polarism propounded by the prophet of Iran, a doctrine which, far from inducing a belief in cosmic dualism, served to reinforce the belief in uncompromising monotheism, which was the keynote of his creed. Our sublunary world is, so to speak, a battleground for the opposite forces of good and evil. Both the principles are constantly at work in man, as well as in creation. It is man's duty and highest mission on earth to rally to the banner of the King of Righteousness and to rout the forces of wickedness. Zarathustra conceives Spenta Manu as the son of Ahura Mazda, the first in creation, occupying the first place in the celestial hierarchy, metaphorically, son. It is through him that the prophet longs to approach Ahura Mazda, and it's through him that the human mind receives divine illumination. Buddha yoga, Luciferianism, that's what's meant by those terms in their base, not certain things that could be applied that some people think are misconceptions people have. That's not what people are talking about. It's not evil. It's not full-on Buddhism. It's something else, sort of a base of both of the, well, not a base of both. I'm not articulating right, but good thoughts proceed from him, and good thoughts proceed from him, and good words and good deeds are the outcome of good thoughts. At the opposite pole stands Angra Mainyu, the evil spirit, who introduces discord and death in the world. The Davas, the offspring of the evil spirit, have chosen him as their lord. So the jinn initially made the choice to follow Iblis, and but were they demons forever? Not all of them. And he teaches them to mislead man through evil thought, evil word, or evil deed, and to lure him by his wiles to the path of wickedness. Whoever Whoever falls, a victim to Angramenu, finds his thoughts enslaved by him. Man must avoid him, as he would a pestilence. The best way to avoid the evil spirit is to think of and espouse the cause of the good spirit. It is only when man's mind is not filled with good thoughts of Bohu Mana that it becomes an easy prey to Angramenu. And this is particularly found in terms of sleep, that if you go to sleep upon certain practices, certain controlled thoughts, there's not gaps for who knows what to come in. When one's life becomes just to entertain oneself, not only do you actually not entertain yourselves and not enjoy yourself as much in life, I mean, really, that's my experiences, other people's experiences, when you're really serious about your life or living it to its utmost, it's no longer about entertainment. But when you're willing to waste your time, then other stuff creeps into it. But anyways, from the regions of the north rushed forth Angramenu, the deadly, the Dava of the Davas, to lure the prophet away from the path of righteousness. But he was met by the Holy One, chanting the sacred formula, Ahunavar. Angramenu persuaded the prophet to renounce the law of God, and held up to him the temptation of sovereignty over nations. The Holy One, however, turned away from him with a contemptuous no, and crowned his victory over the evil spirit with the truth, with the prayer beginning with the words, "This I ask thee, teach me the truth, O Lord." Every Zoroastrian believes that the best weapon he has to fight the evil spirit is the formula Ahunavar, the Paternoster of Zarathustra, and the Shema for Moses, Moshe, for Muhammad ibn Abdullah. We have the Al-Fatiha and As-Salat. Every true prophet's given his formula, his word or phrase. Man's mission on earth, confronted by the two contending forces, how shall man shape his course? Because he certainly appreciates the good and truth more, knowing that evil and ignorance certainly can be. It is the wish of Ahura Mazda that his vicegerents on earth should purify, renovate, and restore to its pristine purity what is spoiled in creation by the evil spirit. By going through the experience of good and evil, by resisting evil and choosing good as their motto, they have the opportunity of bettering their position and raising their dignity in this world and the next. Man is endowed with reason and free will. If he brings evil on himself, it is because he yields to the deceiving principle within him. When he thus deviates from the moral law, he, as it were, strays away from the abode of his real or higher self. He must either resist or conquer evil, or submit and acknowledge defeat. Ben-Hadad 19, 1-10 is quoted, but I'm not sure the footnote, so I'm going to leave the footnote because it may be from the 1968 version. Imperfect is the world that man inhabits, in striving to render it perfect. He is a fellow worker with God, who fights ignorance, fanaticism, falsehood, corruption, injustice, war, disease, and death. Is God's ally in destroying the powers of imperfection. This comparative view of life is the dominant node of Zoroastrianism. Redemption lies in cooperation with good and conflict with evil. In this, the prophet was following, for the most part, the ethics of his time, the power of love to cast out wrong, has not as yet dawned on the world. Force was, therefore, to be met with force. Helping the wicked was tantamount to being wicked. None of this. Well, I'm not going to do it, so I'll give alcohol to this person. I'll do whatever. How can it work if we're promoting the wrong in others? Well, I think what they're doing is wrong, and I think that's ignorant, and I wouldn't accept it myself, but I want to encourage it in others. It's like it doesn't work that way. You're getting credit for it too. Exploded theory of dualism. This ethical doctrine of the true principles of good and evil gave rise in latter years to the belief of cosmic dualism. Spenta Manu came to be identified with Ahura Mazda himself, and such an identification engendered the belief that the world was created and governed by two deities, Ahura Mazda and Ahura Manu, each independent of the other, the one good and the other evil, the one creator and the other destroyer, the one bright and the other dark, the one tending towards the good thought, good words, good deeds, good aspirations, good intellect, good life, and good religion, the other tending towards destruction, evil thought, evil words, evil deed, unholy aspirations, evil intellect, evil belief, and evil religion. Hence, Satanism is a religion. Satanists should just deal with that. And Satanism, witchcraft, whatever you want to call that, the become a living demon siding with these male and female entities that people call gods and goddesses. That's sort of the one side. Surrender to God being, of course, the process on the other side from that evil religion, as it's called. On the other hand, the Gathas and even parts of the latter Avesta furnish positive evidence from the uncompromising monotheistic character of the creed as preached by the sage of Iran. In all his utterances, he subordinates the two spirits to Mazda. He mentions them as my spirits. In the Gathas, Ahura Mazda is the father of Bahumana and therefore distinct from him. In the 19th chapter of the Asna, Ahura Mazda says, of the two spirits, the beneficent one said to my whole tribe of the pure. Here, far from being identified with Spenta Manu, Ahura Mazda stands at a distance from him. Elsewhere, in the same sacred book, it is distinctly stated that Ahura Mazda, desiring good, has created both weal and woe. Yasna 45:9. The evil spirit who disputes the kingdom on earth with the Holy Spirit and introduces discord in the world is the opponent not of Ahura Mazda, but of Spenta Manu. There is conflict between the two spirits, which seems everlasting, but which is bound to end in the victory of good over the evil spirit. The scriptures of the most optimistic living religion in the world speak definitively of the ultimate triumph of the good spirit and of the hiding of the evil spirit underground. Ultimate victory of righteousness over wickedness is thus the end of all earthly strife, which is another way to translate jihad, the Arabic term, but this is not Arabic we're talking here. The twin spirits meet, in the words of Professor Jackson, in the higher unity of Ahura Mazda. And eschatology is chapter 11. And the Quran in Surah 6, verse 1, refutes, has a different claim than this dualism, which came by exaggerating the personage of Ahura Manu, Ashmadeva. Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa samawati wal arda wa ja'ala dhulumati wan nura thumma alladhina kafaru bi rabbihim ya'dilun. So, God having a rival, yes, God has an opponent, but not, you know, not an opponent that can actually destroy, not an opponent that can actually, Isaiah talks of the same thing, that, these negative aspects of God, that's God. But the choice of evil, that's something only creation can do, and only a couple types of creation can do. But when we get too dualistic, rather than just choices that we shouldn't make being being that going on because of on the evil side, they think of a spirit. Oh, we don't like the night, so we're going to make night evil. It's like, night's not evil. Let's not moralize too many things, shall we? Krishna